Hello and welcome back, guys. So basically I have brought another new course as well, which is called Introduction to Sustainability. So I will be providing you the answers as well. So basically it's available for free until it's July 31st. Okay, it's available until that time only, otherwise you'll have to pay $49. Okay, so the link will be in the description below, and then based on that you can basically when you see over here, you will see, like, since I have already enrolled into the course, what you will see is that you will be seeing uh, enroll for free kind of option. Okay, so just click on that, and then after that what you will need to do is that you will need to go to another section and then check it out as well. Okay, so you know what, I will just do that as well. Okay, I'll just do that as well, so that will just help you. Okay, just give me a second. So I'll just create a temporary email first of all. Just give me a second. All right, I'll have to copy this thing. Okay, I'll just keep it like that. Coursera, right? Coursera. I'll be showing you every step. Okay, don't worry. Okay, I'll have to log out. I'll just create a new account as well, so that it's just easier for you. Okay, I'll just sign up. Just copy this thing. My name will be, let's say, okay, let's suppose that's my name, and my email address is this, right? And then after that your password is basically just this, join for free. Okay, so I'm just creating a temporary email. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Skip never. And then let's just open this course. So if I open this again, now see, now what you will see is that basically this is how you will see. Okay, so it will, when you click on the enroll for free, it will say the promotion will be applied at the checkout, right? Purchase price is $49 USD, so you will be basically given it for free. So what you do is you click on continue. After that you will come to your like shopping cart kind of thing. So after this, see, course certificate is 49, discount is minus 49, right? So go to course, and then see, confirmation and email confirmation has been sent to this email address, right? So introduction to sustainability. After this, what you need to do is that basically it's a very good course, you can study it through as well. And then basically uh, in the first chapter you will be basically introduced to orientation and different kind of introductions as well. So but mostly I'll be helping you with the quiz and all. Okay, so a lot of you were asking me about that. So your first week is about orientation and introduction, right? So you have your first quiz over here, so I'll just go and attend it as well. So when you go to the quiz, what you need to do is just click on start. After that, you just need to the correct answer for this will be start slow, increases quickly. Okay, so this is false, I think so. This is technology. Okay, so the first question was a population that follows a J curve pattern, right? So it starts slow, increases quickly. Okay, that's your option. So just check out the option. It might be in different order, or the question might be in, the question will be usually in the same order. Okay, so just the options will be different. Okay, it'll be up and down, so just look at the options carefully. That's all you need to be careful about. So second question is, according to Malthus, population can increase forever, true or false? It's basically false. Okay, so what does T in the iPad formula stand for? It's technology. Okay, that's our correct option. So in this fourth number question, so what does the question say? Refer to the Malthus diagram below. The point at which the green line and blue line intersect is known as the S curve. Okay, no, I mean it's the point of crisis. That's our correct option. Okay, for question number 4. For question number 5, refer to the curve diagram below, and then what's the purple line supposed to represent? It's supposed to represent, our option are S curve, growth curve, carrying capacity, point of crisis, J curve, right? So our correct option is S curve. So according to Malthusian point of crisis, what will happen? The correct option is starvation, that there will be no enough food for the population. Okay. What is Malthusian crisis? Not enough food is produced. That will be a correct answer. Similarly for this, S curve shows the highest rate of growth is basically somewhere between the start and the end period. Okay. Since I have already done this, so I know the answer. Okay. So if someone were to say the Earth's carrying capacity is limited by the availability of fresh water and sustainable limit of water use is 3 billion, so therefore there will be a big population crisis in the near future and Earth agricultural systems are not sustainable. What point we might say this is an example of, it's an example of neo-Malthusian argument. Okay, that's the correct answer. Just check out that, check out your option. It might be up and down, okay, in different order. Just check it out. So according to SI, P into C by P into I by C formula, if the population doubled, does this mean that the sustainability impact is also at least doubled? No. The correct answer will be no. If the population growth increases, decrease, no, not if, I mean not if the population growth decreases consumption. That's your correct answer. Okay, for 11 number, so similarly similar diagram as we had seen up, right? So in this case, what is the question asking us? After a long amount of time has elapsed, population following the purple curve have birth rate equal to death rate. Okay, equivalent to death rate. So in this question, what they might do is this option might be different. So you might have an option such as have death rate equivalent to birth rate, right? So it's just the thingy will be changed. Okay, the birth will be changed with death and then death will be changed with birth. Okay, that's your only change, but the option might be up and down as well. Just have a look at it carefully, match it carefully. Okay, so refer to the growth curve diagram. Again, same diagram. After a amount of time has elapsed, the population following the red curve now, right? So red curve, question number 12, right? So we were talking about earlier, we were talking about purple curve, right? So in this case, red curve, right? So it will happen, it will experience at least abrupt increase in the death rates. Okay, that will be a correct answer. So again, for 13 numbers, similarly, the diagram illustrates the important ideas behind the Malthusian model of population. The blue curve represents the total population and the green line represents the amount of food available. If the Malthusian theory is correct, why do the curves in the figure not follow the path shown, right? So I don't know the answer properly, but I think I'm just guessing. Okay, the flat path. So all you need is 80%. So which I can provide you, which I can help you provide, right? So not 100% in this case, apparently. So 14 number is human overpopulation can be described as occurring whenever the population exceeds the local carrying capacity. Over 20th and 21st century, it has been unclear how fixed carrying capacity of the local human population are, or even what that capacity might be. As changes in technologies have driven record increases in global population, imagine if the carrying amount is exponentially related to the human population, which the following observation would be closely be associated with this relationship, right? So I would say the correct option is the lack of relationship between total population and poverty. There is no relationship between that. Okay. So what you need to do is, I understood submitting the work, and then what you need to do is you need to put your name, okay, as issued by your government ID. Okay, this will be the name that will appear on your certificate. Okay, so you will need to put in something like this. It's just a hypothetical name. Okay, submit. Okay, so as you can see over here, I've 92.85, but what did I make misses? So, all you need is 80%, but still like, so I think now that is not there, Okay, so this option is also elapsed. That means our correct answer should be not constant. I think all of the others are correct. I think that will be our correct answer. I'm not sure. Still, we just need 80%, right? We passed, so that's all right. So again, we go back, right? And then we go to week 2, and then do our another quiz, which is population interactive homework. So you can watch the videos and then basically come to the quiz as well after that. Like, do it properly, and then if you don't get it, then you can come and refer back to my video. Okay, so population interactive videos, right? So for this quiz, I think there will be only 8 questions. Yeah, it's 8 questions, you can see over here. So again, you do the same thing, start, right? So in this case, our answer will be this answer. Our answer is, so basically what we've been given, CVR and CDR for England. According to this graph with Excel or a pen or paper, according to this data, if you are to apply demographic transition model, in which year would stage 2 and stage 3 and 4 begin to the closest half century, right? So it's 1750. I had done it, so that's why I've figured it out. So 1750, 1850. Okay, that's our correct answer. So similarly, in this case, what's the first minute of Hans Rosling? You can go and watch it. It's very good video. Like, he's very presentational with his data, right? So what has been general trend of fertility rates and the life expectancies of developing countries over the last few decades? So it is, fertility has been decreasing, life expectancy has been increasing. Okay, fertility has been decreasing, life expectancy has been increasing. So just check out your options. It might be above or below. Just be careful with that. It might be in different order. Okay, so question number 3 is, how do life expectancy and family size in Vietnam and United States compare today? Note that the United States has not changed very much since 1974 according to the graph, right? So the correct answer is, they are both the same. So basically, life expectancy and family size in Vietnam and United States are same today. Okay, so what's the Hans Rosling global population growth box by TEDx talk, right? So based on that, what we need to answer is, how are birth rates in developing countries different than the developed countries in 2010? So in the year 2010, right? So higher in developing countries. Okay, so birth rates are still higher in developing countries. Sorry, in the animation, child mortality declines at the same time that the family size decreases for many countries between 1970 and 2010. This is not what we expect if the demographic transition was being followed exactly. Does the fact that birth rates and death rates fall together suggests that population would be higher or lower compared with the classic demographic transition model, right? So our correct answer for this will be, total population would be lower. Okay, that's our correct option for this. Just check your option. So what's the economist explanation of global fertility trends or equivalent? Go forth and multiply from economist to answer the remaining questions. Okay, so these articles will be helpful for you to answer the remaining questions. Okay, so you can check out that video, and then this is basically article. So to the nearest billions, what does the United States medium projection predict that the global population will be in 2050, right? So which is medium projection, which is 9 billion. 9 billion. Okay, just check out your options. There are a lot of them, right? So question number 7 is, according to the economists, which is referring to the article, which has social or political change lowered fertility rates recently in Iran, right? So in this case, the correct answer is, I believe it's to be increased rates of women education. Okay, so I'm not quite sure 100%, but still. How would you say that the economists describe the fertility rates in rich countries? Are they above or below the replacement rate, and are they rising, falling, or stable, right? So in this case, your correct option will be below and rising. Okay, that's what the article says basically. So again, you do your check mark, put your name in correctly, then press the submit button. Okay, so our another quiz is also done, so you can see 100%. Okay, so I was basically right about that. increased rate of female education. Okay, because I had looked at it. Okay, that's why I know. Anyways, so let's go to another quiz, which is about module 2, right? Module 2. Where did I do the quiz for module 2? Okay, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Okay, module 2 started. Okay, so how many questions are okay? So it's this one. Module 2, right? So not this, it should be this one. 7 billion is our first answer, right? It's 7 billion. Second answer is the move from high birth and death rate to low birth and death rate, right? And then our other thing will be if the population will be wage and cup shape, right? So if the population is stable, we would expect to see a population pyramid with an wage and cup shape, right? So similarly, for this thing, what I will be doing is that, okay, now it's black. So it's Africa, okay? That's our option where the most population growth will occur is in Africa. So the largest increase in the global population occurred during which time period? So question number 6 is basically, I think it's 20th century. The answer should be 20th century, I think so. Did I do a square shape over here? Okay, this is a wedge and then this is a square shape, okay? Then after that should be 20th century. Let's have a look. 20th century up. So increased wealth is associated with increasing birth rates, right? No, increased wealth is associated with decreasing birth rate. That's what it should be. So which of the following has been observed by demographers in the last 50 years, okay? That's the answer. So question number 8, there are approximately as many 1-year-olds as 40 years old in a population. This suggests that the birth rate have been life expectancy has been increasing, I think. So let's check out the option. Birth rate have been stable for decades, okay? That's our correct answer. The demographic transition model predicts that reduction in childbirth lag reduction in death rate, okay? So reduction in, so since that's not there, none of the other choices are correct, okay? So in this case you will be given two options, so it might either be reduction or the none of the other choices will be there. So your correct answer will be none of the others, okay? So just have a look at the options properly. So does the demographic transition model take into account global catastrophes such as pandemics and nuclear wars? No, the model needs constant improvement. But no, that's not the answer over here. No, the model requires constant development. Yep. There is that option. So in this case, use the graph above to inform a answer to the following question. During which stage does the population growth happen? It's in stage 2, I think so. Should be stage 2, yep. Right. So which stage is closest to the natural state of most organisms? Question number 12. It will be in stage 1, will be basically same with other organisms as well, okay? So similarly in this case, use the graph to inform your answer to the following question. Some demographers think that stage 2 and stage 3 are happening faster in today's developing world. What does this mean, right? What does this mean? So it means that I don't know the answer. So basically it just means that population growth could be higher or the same, right? So your answer could be, so all you need is 80%, but you can mess this up. Does not really matter. Even I messed it up. So I think this will be a correct answer, that the demographic transition model is wrong. So similarly, for this 14 number, many countries trying to actively manage their population by either paying baby bonuses to increase fertility rates or restricting access to government subsidy services for families with more than one or two children to lower fertility rates. Research has suggested that most of these approaches have little impact on population growth rates. If the research is true, which one of this change could current predictions of 21st century? Which one would this change current predictions of 21st century population, right? So our correct answer for this will be, it would not substantially change predictions of global population, okay, because that has already been included within their model, okay. So imagine what would happen if the demographic transition model no longer applies to very high levels of incomes, perhaps high level of income. People have more children as they have more resources to support them. If Malthusian limits on populations don't apply and the global economic growth continues at a fast rate, what would this imply for future demographic patterns, right? So what would be your answer will be, basically all countries will be, I think that would be the answer. No, and not that, and not that. Total population will not decrease, right? That's not the answer as well. Total population will decrease. No, that's not the answer. Our answer will be, we'll have more youthful structures than that, okay? I'm just guessing it, so I don't know the actual answer for this. Even I messed it up, so just click on sub and let's see what happens. 93.33, right? Where did I mess up? So where did I mess up? Okay, this is not the correct answer. The demographic transition model is wrong. That's the wrong answer for question number 13. Okay, so try something else. I'm pretty sure it's not this. Population growth, it could be higher and lower. Less population growth would otherwise occur. That's not the answer as well. So you could try something else. Okay, so this is correct. Even this is correct. Okay, let's just keep learning, and then after that let's move on to week 3. Okay, week 3 is our peer graded assignment. Okay, so all you need to do is that basically submit assignment. So how do you do that? Basically you click on the assignment. So I have a sample assignment that I have written down. Okay, so I'll just write it down, assignment 1, and then what I have is basically tragedy of the commons, right? So I'll provide you this thing in the link as well. So it will be in G Drive, okay, Google Drive. What the hell? Okay, just use it as a reference and then create your own answer. So this is how you will be writing your answers, okay? So and then all you do is, I understand I'm submitting that work. So you will need to be careful that it should not be a copied work, okay? So this is basically a sample work of mine. So write your name and then click on preview. It says again preview, then you click submit button. Once that's submitted, okay, now you will have to review assignments as well of others. Okay, you will have to do 3 reviews or 4 reviews, what is required in this course. Let's have a look. Okay, it's many reviews, does not say anything about there, but it says 4 left, right? So just read through it and then basically give them their marks. Okay, provide them the marks, like 1 point. Is the response original and written by the author? Are citations included if needed? So is the responsible legible and around 150 to 400 words long? I think so it is. Citation is also included, right? Does the response clearly describe what element is commons? Yeah, it does. So including oxygen is shared, right? So it does. So does the response describe a valid example of tragedy of commons that goes beyond the exact example discussed in the course? Yeah, it does, because it discusses about oxygen, right? Does the response describe a possible solution with potential to the tragedy? Yes, it does. So you can provide them with the further comments that you think they need to improve, right? I'll just provide him with the feedback. So after that, you do submit review. Okay. So I have 3 more left to do. So similarly, you can just provide them the review. Okay. So I will not be doing it straight away. Okay. So I'll just pause this video. I'll just do this review quickly. Okay. And then we'll move forward. Okay. Even you do your review as well. As you can see, it says like I have 2 left to complete, but there is still no submission available, right? So what you can do is basically click on the review thing as well. So it's an automatic process. So since maybe many have not submitted it yet, so that's why it's saying that. But still, what you can do is there is no submission available, right? So what you can do is let's just go back, and then after that let's go to grades, and then again come back to review. So still there is no submission left, right? So you can, and basically whenever there is submission, it will just be generated. Okay, so and let's just do this first of all. So let's do the climate change. Or what you could do is that basically you could click on that review assignments, right? So okay, that's not working. So what you could do is basically submit your assignment. Go to that. I'll just open it in another tab. Okay, and then after that, what you can do over here is go to discussions, and then basically see people will be posting help me help my review, and then you can click on that discussion. And then from there as well, what you can do is basically you can help them review their, you can do theirs. All we need is 2 more reviews, right? So basically they have provided a link so that they can since it's automatically generated, maybe they have already been reviewed, but you can do that again. Okay, so see, as you can see the assignment over here, and then you can do your review. Okay, so basically you can be providing your feedbacks, right? So based on this, so I'll just pause it, do these 2 reviews, even you do yours, and then I'll be back. Okay, as you can see, my 4 reviews are done, right? Reviews 4 complete, and then after that I can close this tab as well, and then close this tab as well. I'll close this tab as well, and then come back. So what I have to do is that basically my this assignment part is also done, right? So I'll have to move to another quiz. So climate change interactive homework, right? That's how another quiz. So again, you watch the videos and then like start, and then that this is our question, right? So it's basically gives us the change in temperature, and then I says temperature changes as well. Okay, so this will be pretty same question, okay, in yours as well. And then the correct answer for this is has mainly been cooler. Okay, even you can see from the graph. So another is has shown a cyclic or periodic climate pattern. Okay, so since see it has been showing pretty much in a cyclic kind of thing, right? So that will be our correct answer for that. Okay, so similarly in second question, if the present average temperature is 15 degrees Celsius, what was the temperature about 25,000 years ago and about 120,000 years ago, right? So it's 9 Celsius and 16 Celsius. Okay, that's our correct answer. So using the graphs for sea level change, can we say that the rate of the sea level change is likely increasing? Okay, you can see it from here as well. So the rate of sea level change is likely increasing. That's our first option. And then our second option is sea levels are trending higher at present. Okay, that's our second correct answer. So our fourth question is NASA also discussed scientific uncertainty in the article Study of Earth as an Integrated System. The uncertainties are divided into 2 categories. Forcings and feedbacks. Using the information here and perhaps from a small amount of further research, answer the following. Burning coal can both increase and decrease temperature. Why would it cause an increase in temperature? Why could it cause a decrease in temperature? Increase as well, decrease as well. Check all that applies, right? So your correct answer will be burning coal increases temperature by releasing carbon dioxide. Okay, that's what it basically does, right? No, increases temperature which has a greenhouse gas. Okay, that's our correct option. And then burning coal decreases regional temperature by filtering sulfate aerosols. Okay, that's our correct answer. So again, you do I understand and then put your name in and then click on the submit button. Okay, so see, I've got 100%. Keep learning. So you can go back to the main overview page and then based on there, so see, this quiz has already been completed, so you can click on the other quiz as well and then click on start. Okay, so you can basically be doing that. So it's about tragedy of the commons, right? So which requires both tragedy and commons, right? So what does tragedy consist of? A system that is governed by tragedy of commons. That's our question number 1. So it's an inevitable degradation. Okay, so it's a tragedy of commons. Okay, first number question. A tragedy of commons is most associated with, so it's overuse of resources. That's our correct option. Okay, so similarly for this third number, so fisheries are observed to experience tragedy of commons when they are regulated, unregulated and shared. Okay, so fisheries are observed to experience tragedy of commons when they are unregulated and shared. That's your correct option. Okay, look at your option as well, it might be down or above. Similarly, for this question number 4, fisheries are often described as being afflicted by the tragedy of commons. Which of the following statement is true from the description of this situation, right? So our correct answer is fisheries are collective resources not owned by any individual corporation or individual, right? That's our correct answer. Okay, any corporation or individual. So to conserve the Alaska pollock fishery, the US government brought in permitting requirements, limited the number of allowed fishermen, imposed quotas, and even closed areas to fishing. Why did the government do this? So it was an attempt to deal with tragedy of commons problem. Okay, that's our correct option. So why can common use of resource result in destruction of that resource, right? So the correct option is individual incentive may not be consistent with the group incentive. That's our correct option. So for 7 number, many places had common resources that uses were shared but did not deplete these resources. This is because the local government employed the following approach to avoid commons degradation, right? So it is internal governance. 8 number question is, why is commons part of the commons of tragedy terms potentially a poor name? Because fisheries are not commons. No, that's not your answer, man. That's not your answer. So it's not that. So the original commons were sustainably managed. No, that's not your answer. Tragedies are inevitable. Nope. Okay, this is your answer. The original commons were managed sustainably. Okay, could be. I'm not quite sure. So of property rights, question number 9. Property rights approach is having trouble dealing with something important tragedy of commons issues. One of this is atmospheric pollution and climate change. Why might a property rights approach in particular be failing to curb the problem, right? So this is because of lack of social community. That's our option. Okay, so far the global average temperature of 21st century has been higher than that of the 19th century. True or false? Which is true, right? Obviously. Can you use weather data to determine the climate? Why? So yes, if you have enough data, okay, enough weather records, so that's our correct option, if you have enough weather records. So question number 12 is, if the earth is in energy balance, this means the incoming energy and the outgoing energy will be equal. Okay, so incoming energy equals the outgoing energy. That's our correct option. Just check your option, it might be down or above. Question number 13, which of the following is Milokovic period length that has been observed in Pleistocene climate records? So it is basically, which number is this? Question number 13, right? Question number 13. Okay, this is a bit different question, okay? This is a bit different. I did not have this question. Let me check. I did not get this question. I think this one is a bit different. Question number 13. Yeah, see, I did not get this question. I had a different question. So you might want to be careful with this particular number. Alright, so period that was observed in that period, right? I believe it's 1 million years. Okay, that might be the correct answer. So all you need is 80%, right? So I don't remember it right now, so can't really help it. So over the past 8,000 years, 800,000 years, so see, all the questions are same, just this one is a bit different, right? So only 1, 2 is different. So which was the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere the highest, right? So it's today. Okay, your correct option is for question number 14 is today. Match the question as well. So which of the following data, question number 15, which of the following data informs us that the Earth's climate was once in a glacial period, right? So it's ice cores. Okay, that's your correct answer. Check your options carefully. According to proxy and instrumental data, which is the general trend of global temperature in the last 200 years, right? So it's 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit warning. Okay, that's your correct option. So if there was no atmosphere, the Earth average temperature would be minus 18 degrees Celsius, which is below 0 degree Fahrenheit. The Earth is much warmer than this. Why? Because the Earth atmosphere traps heat like a natural greenhouse. Okay, that's your correct option. So why does carbon dioxide thought to act as a greenhouse gas? Okay, so carbon dioxide is more transparent to visible than infrared radiation. That's why. That's your correct option. CO2 is more transparent to visible than to infrared radiation. Okay. Question number 19 is, how might a change in albedo caused by increased forest cover warm the earth, right? So forests are darker than grasslands. That's your correct option for question number 19. Question number 20, what physical feature of the stable isotopes in water means that they vary with climate in ice cores, so they can tell us about changes in Earth's atmosphere over time? Right, so in this case your correct option will be heavier isotopes require more heat to evaporate. That's your correct option. Like, look at the option properly, it might be down or above, not in exact same place. Okay, so how might ice sheets and vegetations change the climate, right? So both sheets and vegetations change the albedo of the Earth's surface, altering the amount of sunlight that is reflected. That's your correct option. Okay, so in what situation is instrumental data preferable to proxy data? So it's knowing the precision of current temperature. Okay, that's your correct option. Why are sea levels projected to increase over the next century? It is because of the additional, wait a minute, did I get this question? Let me check. Question number 23. How might the increased carbon dioxide placed in the oxygen by burning fossil fuel change the Earth's climate, right? I did not get that question, I think so. No. Why are sea levels projected to further increase over the next thingy, right? Over next century. Meltwater being added to the ocean. That's why, okay? Because of more warmth. That's your correct option, okay? So if the Earth had no atmosphere, uh, if the Earth had no atmosphere, its average temperature would be more like that of Moon, okay? That's your correct option. Venus is closer to the Sun, the Earth, and its Moon. If Venus and Moon had the same atmosphere and roughly the same albedo, we would confidently predict that Venus would be much warmer than the Moon. Sorry. Number 26. So Earth's climate has been recently been linked to Milankovitch cycle. If this natural trend were to continue, we would expect that the average temperature of the Earth will do what over the next 10,000 years, right? So it will decrease slowly by less than 5 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not sure about this option, but still we need 80%, right? So I can't really answer all of this correctly because I don't remember it much. So I've got 88%, not bad, right? So again, keep learning and then come back to your main page and then go to week 4. Week 3 is already been done, right? Week 4, go to your quiz, which is about energy and society homework, right? Again, start. So your first question is from the video of Hans Rosling, right? He points out that the population will increase by 2 billion by 2050, but he makes that the argument that the energy needs will double from today. Why does he say that? Because rich people will use less efficient labor saving devices. Okay, no, rich people will use labor saving but energy using devices. That's why. Okay, so second question is, according to the speaker in the video from question number 1, the average person who is the richest billion, more than $80 per day, uses much more energy than the average person in the poorest 2 billion in 2010. So the correct answer will be about 12 times more. Watch the following video. You can watch it. It's pretty good video by Stuart Brand. So in particular, focusing on the part between 9 to 12:40 of that video, in which speaker talks about nuclear energy, lists some of the advantages of nuclear energy, right? So your first example of this will be nuclear energy is cost competitive. Look at your options carefully. So it will be up or down. Your second option will be produces a little carbon dioxide. Okay, so your second option will be produces small amount of controllable waste. Can be useful with existing technology, produces relatively little carbon dioxide. Okay, so you will have 4 choices, 4 will be correct answer. So just check your options. So what are some problems with renewable energy as suggested by the speaker in the video from question number 3, right? So same thing again. So from here, your correct option will be hydropower does not have scope to increase. That's your first option. Second option is wind and solar power can't be easily stored and so can't provide base load electricity. That's your correct option, okay? So again, click on the checkbox and then after that, basically write your name and click on the submit button. As you can see, 100% right. Keep learning. So again, you can go to quiz directly from here, or you can come back to the main page and then basically go down, scroll down, and then do it from here as well. So start module 4 quiz, right? So our first question is, worldwide most electricity comes from renewable sources, true or false? It's false, okay? So a problem with nuclear energy is that it currently produces nuclear waste. Okay, that's your correct option. Look out for the option as well. It might be down or above. Petroleum product is mostly found in rock types. True or false? False. See, the false is above, so just be careful with the option. So which of the following is described as renewable energy sources? It's hydropower. Okay, that's your correct option for question number 4. Question number 5, what percentage of US primarily energy use is from renewable energy sources? So your option will be more than 80% but less than 95%. Okay, that's the correct option. So not really 100% sure about that. Still, I think so that should be the correct answer. So global fossil fuel use over the 50 years has more than doubled. Okay, that's your correct option. Question number 7, which of the following is advantage of fossil fuels? Right, so they are cheap, they have high energy density, they provide power on demand. Right, so it's all of ABC. Okay, that's your correct option, all of ABC. So what is the biggest renewable energy source used in the United States electricity grid? Right, so it's hydropower. Okay, which of the following is a supposed advantage of wind energy over conventional power? Right, so it's basically less pollution. That's your correct option. Okay, so which of the following is major problem with fossil fuels use? Right, so your fossil fuels use is basically it produces carbon dioxide, A only. Okay, it's not expensive. So at the coal's current rate of use, we use the estimate of the size of reserves to say that there are more than 100 years of reserves left. Okay, so which of the following is big advantage of using nuclear energy to produce electricity? Okay, so it's basically all of above. So all A, B, and C. That's your correct option. Okay. So similarly, what does the term peak oil refer to? It is basically oil is being extracted, or oil is extracted at the greatest rate. Okay, that's your correct option. So what does it mean to have a energy return of between 1 to 10? I'm not quite sure about this, but I guess it will be more energy is returned than expended. Okay, could be the option. So a new light bulb produces more light for the same amount of energy. According to the concept of perverse incentive, this might result in the same amount of energy required as light use increases. Okay, because even though the it's more efficient, but the use has been growing. Right, more population has been demanding it. So question number 16, oil production has been relatively flat for several years. Which of the following would falsify the peak oil model? So your correct option will be a sharp decline in rates of extraction going to zero over years. Okay. Question number 17, which of the following might be reason to expect that solar voltaic energy will become a larger part of the electric grid than power generated by the wind? Okay. So photovoltaic had a faster rate of technological improvement in the past few years. Okay, in the last few years. That's your correct option. Check your option, it might be down or above. Question number 18, on average people want to use more energy than they do currently. We know this because when light is cheaper to produce, more is made. Right, that's your correct option. Question number 19, which of the following could reasonably be referring to NIMBY? Right, so people support pollution creation but don't support pollution storage. Okay, that's your correct option. Question number 20, your correct option is current corn and soy based fossil fuels have energy returns of approximately 1. Which arguments does this information support? Right, so we should reduce biofuel use. Okay, that's your correct option. So again, click on I understand, click on the submit button, and you got 100%. See, all the options were correct. So again, keep learning, come back to your main page. Let's go to week number 5 quiz. Just drink of water. Quiz number 5, right? It's module 5 as well. We have 17 questions. So let's start it as well. So green revolution led to large increase in corporate yields, right? So it's true. Okay, Question number 2. Today, millions of people have consumed food made from genetically modified plants. True or false? It's true. Which of the following is a major storage component of the hydrologic system, right? So our correct answer will be ice sheets and glaciers, okay? Similarly, for question number 4, which of the following describes a water reflux in the hydrologic system, right? So the correct option is the precipitation of water over land, okay? So which of the following is an important driver in the hydrochloric cycle, right? It's sunlight, okay? That's our correct option. Over the last decade, food production has increased globally, okay? That's our correct option for this. So what is known disadvantage of the production and use of biofuels, right? It increases global food prices, okay? That's our correct option. Which of the following statement about soil is true? So soil is being used substantially. I'm not quite sure about this particular answer. Substantially more being used. No, that's not it. Sustainably. No. No till. I think this one is correct. No till agriculture is increasing the rate. I'm just guessing. Okay, I'm not quite sure about gate number. I'll show it to you in the feedback later on. So question number 9 is virtual water is. It can be easier to trade. Okay. Virtual water is question number 9, right? Hang on a second. I did not get this question, I guess. I think it's on the similar line to this. I think so. It's on the similar line. Question number 9, right? I told you I did not get that same answer. Is contributor to water trade problem arises from unsustainable water use. I think it's embedded in trade products. Virtual water problem that arises from contributor to water stress. All of the other options are correct. I think so. This is the option correct. Okay. So question number 10, why might pollution lead to water stress? I'll show you the answers later on as well. So why might the pollution lead to water stress? Question number 10, the correct answer will be implies that sources have limited use, okay? So contamination implies that sources have limited use. That's a correct option. So I have developed a new genetically modified strain of rice that is resistant to herbicides. According to the precautionary principle, it should not sell the seeds of this variety unless it is shown to be safe. That's your correct option. Why is food production required to increase at a faster rate than the population growth as a consequence of increased global wealth? Right. So question number 12 will be because richer people tend to eat more meat. So thanks to original green revolution, what has happened is that the Malthusian catastrophe did not occur in 20th century. So if the access to water begins to limit the spread of high yield agriculture so that global agricultural yields stop increasing, what might be confidently predict will happen to food consumption based on current trends? Assume that the world population continues to increase, right? So what will happen is protein consumption will decrease in most part of the world. Question number 14, your correct option will be protein consumption will decrease in most part of the world. Your option might be below, or we'll have a look at that. So next question is, imagine that the high yield agriculture of developed countries quickly spreads to all countries, and this is rapidly increases the global average agricultural yield. Based on the current trends, we should confidently predict that this would reduce global water use. I'm not quite sure about this one as well. Okay. So question number 16, some philosophers of science argue that the science cannot prove anything. If we take this position and also wish to strictly apply the precautionary principle, what does this imply for new technology, right? So no new technologies could be allowed. Okay, that's your correct option. So question number 17, imagine that the future agricultural crops are genetically modified so that they require less water to grow than current crops do. In this situation, we would confidently suggest that the amount of embedded water in the meat will have declined relatively to today. That's your correct option. Again, click your checkbox, I understand. Then click on the submit button. And you've got 82.35. Okay, so I was going to show you this thing as well, right? So that's not your correct option as well. No till agriculture is not your correct option. Okay, so question number 9 is not the correct option as well. I think it should be something like tradable or something. Okay, so that's not the correct option. And then this one, reduce global water use, is also not the correct option for question number 15. Okay, other things are all correct. Okay, so next thing is, so we will go back. Let's open other quiz. So module 5 is also done, right? So we will look at, okay, there is another assignment as well, right? Environment policy response. So again, in this case as well, click on submit your assignment button. And then what I will have done is that I will put up a sample in my Google Drive in the link below, and then you can copy it from there. I mean, like you can refer it to there, and then like make the adjustment and all, and then basically submit it as well. Okay. Okay. Once the assignment has been submitted, what you can do is basically after that, no submissions available for you right now, right? So again, we will do something else. Come to your, go to your submission thingy. So peer graded assignment, go to your discussions. There might be some peer reviews. So please review my review assignment. I'll review yours. Thanks, right? So again, do their reviews. Right. Error loading submission. Okay. What about this one? Okay, this is loaded, right? So you can basically read this and then give your thingy, your conclusion as well. Okay, so don't try to copy this, like it's you won't be getting a proper marks for it. Okay, so you might be disqualified as well, but you can refer to as a, use it as a reference. Okay, don't just copy exactly the same words. So I'll just do my reviews and all. So basically I'll just pause it so that I can save some time in the video. Okay, once you have done it, so what will be displayed is that 4 by 4 of the review has been done. That's what will be displayed out there. Okay, so since this is a peer graded assignment, so the other people have to mark your as well. Okay, so it might take few time, so you won't be getting your certificate immediately, but you will have to wait for their review to come so that you get grades for all this assignment that you have submitted. Okay, so similarly, in your environmental policy examples homework, so just click on start in the quiz as well. Your first option will be which of the following might use describe a policy mandating minimum biofuel use, right? So your first correct option is command and control. Question number 2, assume that the speaker is correct, there is a policy failure, the cost of mandating biofuels use outweighs the benefit. Which of the following could describe the reason for this policy failures, right? So it is mobilization bias. That's your correct option. So what's the video of this? Which is the negative externality of this in this video, right? So it's plastic waste. So what concept describe a policy that outlawed plastic bags, right? So it's command and principle. So chapter 7.4 of the textbook describes a number of US government laws that do have to do with environment. It describes the Clean Air Act, in which we see the following policy approaches, right? So it's ambient standard, that's first, and then incentive policy, that's your second option, okay? Just check your options as well. It might be up and down, but still the options will be same, okay? Click on your checkbox, click the submit button. Again, keep learning, go back to your main page, and then again you attempt the other quiz, okay? So what quiz do we have left? Module 6, right? Okay, let's start this thing. So we have 16 question is this in this. So air pollution is a good example of a negative externality. So if we were to increase taxes on carbon dioxide, we would predict that people will drive car less. Okay, that's your correct option. Third number, mobilization bias does not occur in democracies. True or false? It's true or false. Okay, your correct option is false. PV on tax hopes to reduce social cost. True or false? Your correct option is true. So which of the following pollution types is an example of negative externality? Is basically a light pollution. Okay, that's your negative externality. A carbon cap will increase the cost of emitting. A carbon cap will, not owning, increases the harm that carbon dioxide does in the, no, decreases the cost of owning, no, limits, no, reduces the harm that, I think I did not get this answer, man. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Not question, module 5, not this as well. Module 6. All right. See, I told you increases the cost of acts to increases the cost of, right? So I did not get this particular question, but you might get this. The correct option is this. Okay. So in this case, the carbon cap says carbon cap, right? So carbon cap increases the cost of owning carbon. I think so. That's the correct option. Question number 7, what concept might we use to describe the policy of mayor who introduces a fee designated to limit congestion in the downtown of the city? That's Pigovian tax, okay? So if the benefits outweigh the cost for an action, a cost benefit analysis states that we should perform, okay? So sometimes in this question what they do is basically, see, I have a different question, okay? I'll show you as well. Question number 8. Question number 8, right? So if the cost outweighs the benefits, right? So we should not perform, but in this case, we've been given if the benefits outweigh the cost, okay? So if the benefits outweigh the cost, we should perform the action, okay? So just look at a question and then option in this question number 8, okay? Not like same thing happens with every question. See, the question number 9 is basically same question, okay? Which of the following does application of the risk management approach require? The ability to weigh the risks. So which of the following could be considered a PVM tax, right? So in this case, should be considered a PVM tax. See, even I have a different question in this. Let's see, let's show you as well. Congestion charge to drive downtown, right? That's a PVM tax, okay? So similarly, in this case, what will be our correct option? So luxury tax on expensive cars, no. Subsidy for home installation, no. Tariff on internationally made, I think it will be this option, okay? So emission tax on carbon dioxide, that's not it. Yeah, I think this will be the option. So question number 11, when we discuss the impact of pollution on third parties, what sort of externality are we referring to? Negative externality. So negative externality, right? That's pretty general. So which of the following pairs of acts clearly demonstrate positive externality and negative externality in that order, right? So in the same order. So first is positive externality will be basically doing good to others, right? So basically picking off a can aluminum, empty aluminum off the street, right? Not onto, off the street. And then throwing a plastic bottle into the ocean is negative externality, right? Yeah, that's our correct option. If an environment policy is economically efficient, it means that it is the cheapest policy for society for a given outcome. Okay, that's the correct option. Why might we use carbon tax instead of ambient standard to regulate emissions? Is basically 14, right? Because I think this one is a bit different as well. Let's see. Let's see. See, even this question is a bit different. So in this case, I have command and control policies might directly legislate ambient standard for emissions, right? So in this case, what we've been given is that why might we use a carbon tax instead of ambient standard to regulate emissions, right? To reduce the amount of energy used by society. To reduce the amount of energy emitted. I think this will be the correct option. To increase the amount of alternative energy used. Causes of failure. What we can say that question number 15. This one is a different as well. Let's see. If the mobilization bias results in a policy failure, it means concentrated efforts have distorted the policy process, right? So in this case, what has happened? So if the omission causes a policy failures, we can say that omission causes a policy failure. This is an example of mobilization bias in action. Okay, the precautionary principle is question number 16, right? Is biased against taking an action that has risks. Okay, that's your correct option. So let's have a look. Ooh, 75% only. Where did I mess up? Okay, carbon tax. Tariff on internationally made goods, and that's incorrect. To increase the amount of alternative energy use. Okay, that's not correct. This is an example of mobilization bias in action. Okay, that's not it. Okay, let's attempt it one more time. So you can try it as many times. Okay, I'll try it one more time. Why not? We know the answer already, right? So is a negative externality. People will drive carless. Or does not occur in demographics. False. True. Which of the following pollution types is a common example of light pollution? A carbon cap, basically. Carbon cap increases the cost of one, reduces the harm. That I think it will be that. Okay, limits the amount of carbon dioxide emitted. Why didn't I see that option, man? So easy. So in this case, congestion, right? PVN tax. So cost outweighs the benefit. So that means should not perform the action. Next is risk management. Is basically to ability to weigh the risks. PV on tax in this case is congestion charge to drive downtown, and then in this case, what sort of externality are we referring to? A third party, right? So it's a negative externality. Question number 12 is positive externality is picking up an empty can off the street and throwing a plastic bottle into the ocean. 13 number is, so environment policy is economically efficient if it's cheapest policy for the society for a given outcome. Okay, command and control policy might direct legislation. Command and control policy might direct legislation, right? Might directly legislate. I think I have this question as well, man. Question number 14. An ambient standard for emissions. An ambient standard for emissions, right? I have this option, but in this case, it's a bit different. There is no ambient standard. An increase in Earth's energy balance, okay? A limit on pollutant concentrations. I think that will be the correct option. Question number 14. So if mobilization bias results in policy failure, that means that the concentrated effort have distorted the policy process. Okay, that's our correct option. In this case, the precautionary principle is biased against taking action that has risks. Submitted should get 100% good. Okay, that's our correct option. Light pollution, carbon cap limits the amount of carbon dioxide emitted, right? So PV tax should not perform that thingy. Ability to weigh the risks, that's pretty simple. Congestion charge, and then negative externality, throwing a can, and then environment policy is cheapest policy for government for a given outcome. We know that answer already. A limit on pollutant concentration. This was a bit different question, so just look at your answers. So in this case, concentrated efforts have distorted the policy process relative to diffuse interest. Precautionary principle is biased against taking action. Okay. So similarly, so we have another assignment in this particular case. So I will put up a link as well. So just submit it as you did like the other questions, right? So let's move on to quiz number 7, module 7, right? Here we have 22 questions. Okay, so life cycle assessment. Question number 1, life cycle assessment of energy use of a car would take into account the energy need to make the steel in the car frame. It's true, that's a correct option. An average citizen on a rich country consumes more resources than a citizen from a poor country. It's true. Question number 3, the intrinsic value of the natural world can be assigned to a dollar equivalent. True or false? Correct option is false. Regions of low biodiversity have very few species. That's a correct option. According to most metrics, an average citizens of developed countries has a bigger impact than the citizen of a developing country. That's your correct option. So question number 6, if a country can be described as having experienced peak travel, this means the citizens this means that the citizens of the country are not traveling as they did. So in this case, you are given the shape of Kuznets curve, which will basically be this one, okay, environmental harm. This sort of curve will be there. So food mile measures the distance the food has traveled. That's a correct option. So ecological footprint of a country estimates the total consumption of ecological services less the service. No, ecological services within the country itself. Ecological footprint is basically consumption of ecological services within the country itself, right? The larger an individual's ecological footprint, the more ecological services consumed by the person. Carbon footprints measures the total of greenhouse gases emitted. What might we say biodiversity means, right? The regions have total value of known, the change in no. It's just this mean, this, right? That's the only correct option. Variety among living organisms. So according to the concept of economic fragility and resilience, we might expect a biodiversity hotspot ecosystem to return to original state relatively quickly after disturbance. Okay, let's see this as well. Okay, I'm a bit confused in this. So is it slower or that? Question number 13, right? Question number 13, question number 13. Okay. Quickly after disturbance. Okay, that's correct. It was like there is slowly as well, right? So, which of the following could reasonably be described as an example of intrinsic value approach, right? Question number 14. A deer that exists for its own sake. So why is embodied energy important in life cycle assessment of environmental impact, right? So it's basically, why is embodied energy important in a life cycle assessment of saying, right, of environmental impact? I think I did not get this answer. I did not get this question. I think so. Let's have a look. Embodied energy measures, right? So what does this particular question say? Nope, it's a bit different. Why is embodied energy important in? So what does embodied energy do? It measures the sum of energy needed to make a product, right? Manufacturing is the most important contribution to the compact impact. No recycling options exist. No. Basically, embodied energy is the energy needed to produce a particular product, right? So I think we have some just for comparison basis, right? So when environmental theorists talk about dematerialization, they are focused on the reduction of material consumption in developed world. So if a society is unable to return to original state after a significant disturbance such as a war, crop failure or pandemic, we can describe it as resilient, right? So a return to original safe. So which of the following evidence is that environmental Kuznets curve might not widely be applicable? So CO2 do not decrease as countries become wealthier. So if the theory behind environmental goodness is true for all environmental problems, we can say that the intrinsic value of the nature is highest for countries with medium level of development. So which of the following is an example of ecosystem service as supplied by wetlands, right? So in this case, the fish caught by recreational anglers who visit the wetland. Okay, that's the option. So check your option, it might be down above. So similarly, in this case, question number 21, if a society were following the daily rules, the fish stock would be steady or increasing. Okay. So aluminum is a metal refined in the mineral bauxite. This requires large amount of energy, which were to use a life cycle assessment approach to estimate the total carbon footprint of an aluminum can. It would be reasonable to not calculate the use of the can, as this is a minor contributor to emissions. Okay, so click on your checkbox, click on submit. It is 6.36, right? So where did I mess up? Let's see. Where did I mess up? I think so in this here, something. Why is embodied energy important in life cycle? So that's not your option, okay? Choose something else. So similarly, in this case, a society is unable. Okay, I did not see that, man. So the question used to normally be able, okay? So in this case, it's unable, right? So I think you will call it fragile. Okay, so if it's able, then it's resilient. If it's unable, it's fragile. So similarly, in this case, the intrinsic value is, it should be more, right? So why did not I had the same question as well, right? Wasn't it the same? True for all if the theory behind Kuznets curve. Okay, so that's not the correct option. So even I had messed it up. So life cycle assessment of goods and services will be fewer in this stages. That's not it. Intrinsic value is not it. So these two options are out of the way. So that means will create a few environmental impacts. Citizens of growing economies create relatively few environmental impacts. This should be the correct option, I think so. Otherwise, everything I guess worked out pretty well. Yep. Again, to keep learning, come back to your overview, and then we have our last quiz left. Okay, I'll just refresh it as well. Okay. Last quiz is this one. So 40 questions, right? Start. So can population ever exceed their environmental long carrying capacity? Yes, that's your correct option. Okay. Hang on a minute. Let me check mine as well. Yep, it's yes. So similarly, in this case, what does the C in the formula SI stands for? It's consumption. Okay. So what occurs in a Malthusian catastrophe? Not enough food is produced. Okay, that's your option. Question number 3. Question number 4. New Malthusian model is correct. The world capacity is 8 billion. Which of the following would likely occur? Right. The population would be lower in the middle of 21st century than UN predicts. Question number 5. Assume the demographic transition model is correct and that developing countries develop more rapidly than the current predicted. What does this imply for global population at the end of 21st century? So it just means that global population will be stable or decreasing. That's a correct option. So what is the demographic transition model? So it's basically the move from high birth and death rate to low birth and death rate. Okay, so which is the current global population to the nearest billions? It is 7. Question number 8, you have given some chart, right? So similarly, in this case, which of the country is most likely to experience demographic transition, which is most likely to have the lowest uh, life expectancy, right? So in this case, what will happen is Uganda and that. Okay. Uganda's. Okay, hang on a minute. Which of the following is likely past the demographic transition? Of course, Thailand is past the thing, and then I'm not quite sure about this one. Okay, so I had this sort of question. So I had this sort of question. So of these three plots, which were the same for the different countries possible in the last 60 years, I had this question. So your Uganda's profile, then Thailand's, then Croatia. That was the option. But in this case, it's a bit different, right? So I'm just thinking it's Thailand first of all because it just seems like that. So does the demographic transition takes into account global catastrophes such as pandemic and nuclear war? Question number 9. No. The model requires constant development. Okay. Question number 9. Question number 10 is assume that the demographic transition model is largely correct. Which of the 4 stages of the demographic transition would be best described by Malthusian model? Support your answer with a Malthusian description. Right. So here the population and capacity are roughly equal. Okay, that's your correct option. Let's have a look as well. Don't wanna mess it up, right? Yep. Again, in this case, what is tragedy of commons is a shared resources that is available to many users. So question number 12 is basically which of the following most accurately fully describes a tragedy in the tragedy of the commons, right? So in this case, question number 12 is an inevitable bad outcome. Okay. So a forest is theoretically predicted to experience tragedy of commons when it is used by many individuals. Okay, question number 13. Used by many individuals to conserve the Alaskan pollock fishery, the US government brought in permitting requirements, limited the number of fishermen allowed, imposed quotas, even closed areas to fishing. So why did the government do this? So it was a precautionary principle. All of these things apply. Okay, all of the options are correct. Let me check one more time as well, so that I don't want to suggest you any wrong question. So I'm just guessing it's that. Okay, I'm not quite sure about this one. So using external government creates pollution in dealing with some of the important tragedy of common issues. One of these is atmospheric pollution, the resulting climate change. Why might an external government approach in particular be failing to curb the pollution, right? So it is because of unclear group incentive. I think I messed this one up as well. I think so. Let's see. Yeah, I missed this one up as well. I was lack of enforcement. That's what I had written. But the correct option should be unclear group common incentive. I'll show you the option as well at the end. So the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, question number 16. This one is different. Yeah, this one is different question again. So I had this question, quaternary period. I had selected this option, which is wrong. So this one is a bit different. The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is independent of the level of insulation. All of the organisms can be reduced by natural process changes over time. Has been higher in distant past than it is today. No, this is not correct, right? Is independent of the level of insulation. Okay, that's can be reduced by natural processes. Okay, that could be the correct option. Okay, question number 16. So how is instrumental data different to proxy data in determining how climate varies over time? Question number 17. Even this thing is not there. See, my thing is, my question is a bit different. So which of the following data is used, right? So in my case, what is how is instrumental data different to so I think this one is the correct option. So instrumental data is more exact. Proxy data is capable of recording climates that are further in the past and can require assumptions about natural systems that are not required for instrumental data. Okay, I think that's the correct option. So question number 18. uh, the temperature of the earth is controlled by energy balance. If the temperature of the earth is stable over the time, it means that the total amount of radiation entering the earth system is same as those ones leaving it. Okay, so question number 19. What physical features of stable isotopes in water that they vary with climate in ice cores and can therefore tell us about changes in earth's temperature over time? I think this one is heavier isotopes, man. I did not get this question. I did not get this question. I did not get this question for sure. Yeah, see, I got Milankovitch cycle and I selected all of the options are correct. That was not correct. Alright. Okay, question number 19 is a bit different as well. I think that's the correct option, okay? Heavier isotopes require more heat to evaporate. Or this could be the correct option. Heavier isotopes sink to the thingy. We'll have to see. Okay. So geoengineering has proposed a method of dealing with man-made climate change. If someone was to propose putting large mirrors in space to deflect light from the sun, this would act to cool the earth via mechanism. So through a reduction in insulation on the earth. Okay, that's the correct option. So fossil fuel has done what in the 50 or so years, more than doubled worldwide. That's the correct option. Which of the following is advantage of fossil fuel, right? So it is cheap, high energy density, and provide power on demand. Okay, so what is peak oil refers to? We've already done this. So at the time when oil is extracted at a greater rate. That's your correct option. Look at the options and the questions carefully. What does this energy return of between 1 to 10 basically means? It just means that more energy is returned than is expended, right? So global electrical power produced by nuclear plants have grown very much in the past few decades. The nuclear power production has grown by much more, then in so doing replace more conventional sources of electrical generation. We would most obviously predict that total greenhouse emissions would be lower. That's your correct option. Worldwide, the biggest single use of water is agricultural use. Okay, that's your correct option. So which of the following is major storage component of hydrologic system, right? So in this case, it's ice sheets and glaciers. That's your correct option. So under which of the following circumstance it is always unsustainable to extract waters from no aquifer, right? So to it, question number 28. It's basically the recharge rates are lower than extraction rates. The original green revolution required farmer to do which of the following to increase yields, right? So use artificial fertilizers. That is the correct option. So as the world increase and the economies develop, it is predicted that we will need to increase total grain yields at a faster rate than the population increase alone would indicate. Which of the following reason is this? Is as the world population increases and economy will need to increase grain yields at a faster rate than the population. Which of the following is the main reason for this, right? So per person meat consumption is increasing, I think so. That should be the answer, I think so. Let's have a look. Yeah, per person meat consumption is increasing, that's why. So if the cost outweighs the benefit, we should not perform the action. Okay, so if you have another option, if the benefits outweigh the thing, you should perform the action. Okay, so what is the PV on tax? In this case is not this, we've already done that. Emission tax on carbon dioxide, no. Subsidy for no. I think it's tax rebate for that. Question number 32, right? No, it's emission tax on carbon dioxide. Okay, that's the correct answer. So question number 33, a factory produces sulfur dioxide which causes extra acid rain, which in turn produces waterways. We discussed the impact of this pollution on local fishermen. What sort of externality should we be referring to? Neutral externality. So if the omission causes a policy failure, we can say that what was the correct answer for this? If a policy failure, not a mobilization bias, okay. The precautionary principle is insufficiently conservative. I'm just guessing, okay. So question number 35, 1995 Clean Air Act companies to trade a right to emit sulfur dioxide, a gas that makes acid rain, act which in turn damages wildlife. The act also limits the total amount of sulfur dioxide which is allowed to be emitted. What we would describe this kind of law of question number 35, right? Cap and trade, okay. The regions of high biodiversity have beyond else many species. So if a food has smaller than average of the food miles, this means it has traveled less distance to the consumer than the average food. That's your correct answer. If a society cannot return to, okay. So it is called fragile, I think so. So you can be given can as well, okay. So if the carbon dioxide follows a Kuznets curve, we would predict that CO2 will first start to decline in the richest nations. So similarly, read this statement: thanks to rapid population economic growth, better governance and much improved public health care, especially against malaria, most African countries are now experiencing child mortality falls of 5% or more a year, a rate that is far more rapid than it was in 1990s. This falls will surely be followed as night follows day by an even faster fall in birth rates. Which of the concepts or models does this statement accept to essentially true? It is demographic transition. Okay, so just click on this and then click on your submit button. Okay, 82.5, nearly there. So let's I'll just show you the answer as well. So all these are correct except for question number 8. Okay, this was wrong. So this is not your option. Try something else. Think about something else. So similarly, all these things are pretty much the same. For this thing, Pulaskian, it was an attempt to apply. I think so. It was this option, I guess. Not unclear group incentive as well, not lack of enforcement as well. So it's a bit different. Okay, it should be from these three. So I think it's lack of this one, lack of individual incentive or lack of social community. So similarly, amount of carbon dioxide, okay, this is not correct. It can be reduced by natural process. That's not correct. So similarly, this is not correct as well. Heavy ice top sinks to the bottom of the ice core. I think it should be this one then. Similarly, all these things are correct, I guess. Okay, that's not a negative neutral externality as well. That's not a positive externality. That's not a negative externality. Inefficient, I think so. It's that. And then this one is not precautionary principle as well. Not mobilization bias. So I think it's this one. Corrective management analysis, risk management analysis will argue against a new policy. Maybe this is the option. I did not read that properly, man. Okay, so this is basically done, right? So after you've done this, you can basically go to your main page, right? So after your assignments have been marked, you can check your grades over here in the grade section. As you can see, all the grades have been received except for my assignments, right? So when you submit your assignment, you will get your grades, and then you can basically get your certificate straight away from here as well. So you will be getting your certificate straight away from here. So it will just say your certificate is ready, or what you could be doing is click on your profile, click on accomplishments, and then like you will be asked to verify your name. First of all, verify my name. Okay, first of all, type your name over here again. Like that, and then click on your checkbox, click on submit. Your name is verified, right? You can click save as well in this. After this, again come back, and then after that go to my accomplishment. So if this is completed, then you will be getting a certificate in this my accomplishment thing. Okay, so it will be displayed over here. So how will it be displayed is that I can show it to you as well. So I'll just close this thing. I'll show you over here. Not this one. Okay, let me do something else. Okay, in progress, right? So let's log out from here. I'll sign in with a different one, and then I'll show it to you. Okay, so when you see the completed one, as you can see, once this has been completed, so your certificate will be over here. Okay, so it just says that in the overview tab, you'll be saying congratulations, you have completed your thingy, right? So when you click on the view your certificate, when you click on that, you will be basically redirected to another page, and then your certificate will be over here. You can click on download certificate, and then you will be shown this particular certificate. Okay, from here you can do save as well, click a photo, whatever. Okay, so next way that you can also see is go to my accomplishments, and then from here as well you can see all of the courses that I've completed, right? So basically we are talking about introduction to sustainability, right? Again, click on that particular course, and then from here again click the download certificate, you can download it. Okay, so basically I'll put up the link for all the assignments in my description below. If you want me to do any other courses or any other courses that you would like help on, please do comment down below, suggest me, I'll definitely be helping you out. Until next time, bye bye.